I is a mysterious spirit who jumps bodies every day. Every morning I wakes up in the body of a teenager and spends the day as them. As the night falls and the clock strikes 12, I is transported into the body of a new teenager and the cycle continues. One day, I wakes up as a boy named Justin. He greets Justin and the first thing he does is set an alarm for 11 p.m. and another one for 11:50 p.m. Then, I takes a picture of the face he has woken up as. Then he starts getting ready for school. When Ree wakes up, she checks her phone to see if her boyfriend Justin has replied to her or not. Ree gets ready for school and makes a smoothie while checking her phone every minute. Justin still has not replied. Disappointed as she is, she starts to send him another text but then thinks better of it and does not. She then wakes up her older sister, Jolene, who drives her to school on her way to work. During recess, Ree looks for Justin when her friend Rebecca notices it and asks Ree to dump the guy because he's just not worth it. Ree ignores her and rushes to Justin when he walks in. She nervously apologizes to him for texting him so much the night before and rambles on, but I seems clueless for a few seconds as he digs into Justin's memories and recognizes Ree as his girlfriend. Then Justin, who is actually I, says that he is the one who should apologize for not texting her back. Ree is a little taken aback as she is not used to Justin being so considerate. He then affectionately tucks a lock of her hair behind her ear, and the girl is stunned for a second. He is being so different today, Ree cannot place what changed. Then, on an impulse, she suggests that they skip school to spend time together and I agrees. They both drive away in Justin's car, and while Ree feels that something is different with Justin today, she chooses to enjoy this good side of him. The two sing songs together, go to the aquarium, and then to the beach where they eat Chinese food and have a blast of a day. While walking together, talking and laughing, Ree receives a text from her father and her mood instantly deflates. She then confides in I about her estranged relationship with her father. She tells him about the manic episode that her dad had a few years ago after getting fired from his job, and how after that incident, everything changed between her parents and her dad just stayed home and never went to work again. I consoles her and manages to make her feel a little better. The two kiss and end the day on a happy note. As he drops her home, Ree expresses to him how happy she had been today. I tells her that not every day will be the same since it will soon be time for him to exit Justin's body. Ree tells him that today was the happiest day she has had in a long time and no matter what tomorrow brings, she wants to end this day on a nice note. She then kisses him goodbye and I watches her go disappointedly. He has developed a connection with Ree and wants to see her again. The next morning, I wakes up as a girl named Amy. He goes through his morning routine of setting up 2 alarms and taking a picture of the person he has woken up as, like he does every day. When Ree gets to school that day, she finds Justin is back to his usual self. He is smoking with his friends and she is simply disappointed. Suddenly, a girl approaches her and introduces herself as Amy. She tells Ree that she is new to the school and so would like to shadow her for the day. Ree chooses to help her out. She brings Amy to the lab class and introduces the girl to her friends, Rebecca and Alexander. Alexander seems to have a little crush on Ree, but the girl is completely oblivious. Justin enters the class, looking totally angry with her because he missed practice the previous day and doesn't recall what he even did. The whole day is just a fog in his memory and he blames Ree for it. Seeing this upsets Amy and she comes to Ree's rescue and yells at Justin for being an ungrateful brat who is upset about having spent a fun day with his beautiful girlfriend. This makes Ree mad at Amy for yelling at her boyfriend. Amy apologizes to her but also says that she just could not control herself when Justin was clearly being unappreciative of her. This upsets Ree and she leaves Amy in the care of her friend Alexander. The next day, I wakes up as a boy named Nathan. He opens his laptop and checks how far away he is from Ree. Then he completes his morning ritual and gets going. At night, Ree gets to the party with Justin. At the party, Justin remains busy with his friends, completely ignoring Ree. Ree stands in one corner listening to music and longingly wishes for her boyfriend's attention. But when she sees a guy goofily dancing to the tunes, she joins him too and starts having fun. They get to talking and Ree finds out that his name is Nathan and he doesn't go to their school but is actually Steve's cousin. When Justin notices the two, he slides in and stands close to Ree, marking his territory. I cooks up a story about him being gay and therefore, not a threat to his territory. This relieves Justin and he leaves to be with his friends. And Ree end up outside, sitting inside a dollhouse in the yard. I expresses that he can't understand why Ree is with Justin and she tells him it is because they love each other. I doesn't think so but he humors her anyway, and the two have a nice, fun conversation when suddenly, the alarm on Nathan's phone rings. I realizes he has to rush home before the body swap happens and hurries out. When Justin finds out that his friend Steven has no gay cousin named Nathan, he rushes to chase the imposter away. I manages to leave from there just in time to save getting caught. The next morning, I wakes up as a blind teenager and can't find a way to reach out to Ree. When Ree gets to school, she finds out about Nathan on the news. The report says that Nathan was found asleep in his car at 1 in the morning parked at the side of a highway. When he was asked further questions about how he ended up there, the real Nathan told them that he had been possessed by Satan. Ree has no idea what to make of this. The next day, I text Ree from a random number, asking her to meet him alone somewhere so that he can explain everything to her. Ree decides to meet this mystery person and get her answers once and for all. She goes to a book cafe where she meets a girl named Megan, the person whose body I is inhabiting that day. I fumbles to explain to Ree that it was he who met her as Nathan and Amy, and that it was he who was inside Justin's body the day they went to the beach. This obviously confuses Ree so much, even more so when I goes on to explain how he wakes up in a different person's body every day. It's always someone around his age and in the same geographical location, and it's never the same person twice. I doesn't know why this happens to him or how. Neither does he have any control over whose body he wakes up in each morning. This is the first time he's ever told anyone about it, but Ree is not ready to believe any of that. Just as she is about to leave, I stops her by reciting the fortune she had gotten in her cookie from the day on the beach with Justin. This baffles Ree and she thinks someone is trying to prank her. Upset and confused, Ree just leaves. At school, Ree asks Justin if he remembers anything from their day at the beach or what she had told him about her dad the other day, but he claims to have no memory of it. This makes her suspicious and Ree is forced to consider the possibility of I being real. She sets up a meeting with I and arrives at a diner where she meets James, the person whose body I is inside that day. He tells her that he named himself I because he wanted his identity to be unique. Ree asks him questions about their time together to confirm his identity. And even when I answers them correctly, she still has trouble believing him. It all feels so surreal to her. She asks questions about I's life and he tells her that he has no idea about his origin or if he even has parents. As far as he can recall, he has lived every day of life as a different person and so nothing in life has ever been constant for him. He tries to spend that one day for the person he wakes up as, and tries not to leave a mark or trace of himself in that person. Ree asks more questions about what it is like for I to be inside someone else and he tells her that he is usually in full control of his consciousness, and can access that person's memory as well. But for that one day, the person he's inside is pushed out and I is fully in charge. But as the night falls and the person falls asleep, I is pushed out and then jumps bodies. This life seems very lonely and Ree feels sad for I. I shows her his Instagram account where he posts pictures of every person he has ever woken up as, to keep track of the lives he's lived and impacted. All this is too much for Ree to process and she decides to leave and take some time alone to think about everything I has told her. Ree gets home and checks out I's Instagram account again. She finds the picture of herself and Justin from their date at the aquarium that day. Not knowing what to do, she goes to her father's studio in the garage. She looks at his paintings, but when the old man walks in and asks if she needs anything, Ree just says no and leaves. The next day, Ree goes in search of some answers for herself. She visits Nathan at the church, who surely seems a little deranged to her as he goes on about how he was possessed by the devil. Nathan believes that when Satan was inside him, he used the Instagram app on his phone to access his account. But he can't prove that since the password for the account was changed and Nathan lost access to it. The next day at school, now that Ree knows about I's existence, she can't help but look for him in every face in the corridor. She finds him at the end of a crowded hallway. Today, I is a girl who doesn't even go to their school, but he came to see Ree and is surprised by how Ree was able to identify him. I tells her that he feels a connection to Ree and cannot seem to let that go. Ree expresses her distress at the fact that I let her kiss him while he was in Justin's body. I argues that Justin can never understand Ree. Being inside his mind for a day told I that much and that Ree should not be with Justin. Ree exasperatedly asks if she should be with him then and I agrees. He thinks she could do that if she wants to. This obviously seems like a ridiculous idea to Ree because how is it even supposed to work when I is inside a different person every day? But I asks Ree to at least give them a chance. Later, while spending time with Justin on their homework date, Ree realizes that I was right and that Justin does not understand her at all. The next day, Ree waits for I to text her, but when she does not get a message from him all day, she feels disappointed. While on her way home, she receives a text from I asking her to meet at the library and she excitedly leaves to see him. She reaches the library and finds I. Today, I is living as George, someone homeschooled by a strict mother who leaves little time for play. They get to talking and Ree asks I about his childhood. I tells her that he figured out that he was different from others when he was around 6 years old. People around him would talk about tomorrow being a constant, but every day, I would wake up as a new person. For him, there was no tomorrow. But as a child, no one ever understood his distress when he tried to express it. The adults would think of him as just being a child, and because he never stayed inside a body for more than 24 hours, I never made a connection with anyone. Ree holds his hand to comfort him and the two share a kiss. Ree helps I study because George's mother is very strict. They laugh and learn and spend quality time with each other. When George's mother finds the two of them kissing in the library, she is livid. Ree runs away from there, laughing. The next day, I is surprised to have woken up as Ree. He promises that he will be cool about it and gets ready for school. He doesn't take a peek at Ree's body in the shower and carefully dresses up as her. Then he sets the alarms and takes a picture of Ree before leaving home. At school, when Justin kisses Ree, I gets awkward and uncomfortable about it. He snaps at Justin for never being considerate about what Rhee wants, and leaves from there before he accidentally says something he isn't supposed to. I apologizes to Rhee for losing control of his temper with Justin and hopes that Rhee will not be mad at him tomorrow. He then visits Rhee's father at his studio and spends some time with him. Her dad talks about his paintings and how they help him feel better. I even lets her dad make a painting for Rhee, which she wouldn't have done herself on any given day. Later that night, I writes a letter to Rhee telling her that he tried to leave her every memory of the day, and tried to change as little as possible for her. He expresses how much he cares for her and hopes that she would not be mad at him for he did not choose to wake up as her. The next morning, Rhee wakes up feeling exhilarated. The first thing she does is meet with Justin to break up with him. She then calls I and tells him that she woke up feeling clearer than she ever has and the two plan to meet up. I and Rhee drive to her uncle's cabin for a weekend getaway. Rhee thanks I for not breaking up with Justin and letting her get to it herself. They arrive at the cabin and settle in. Rhee tells I that she remembers most things from the day when he was her and tells him that he should leave his impression on the people he possesses, leaving them with more memories and making a mark on them. But I wonders how Rhee is not bothered by him being what he is. Rhee simply kisses him in reply. The two have a picnic outside where Rhee asks him why he can only stay inside a person for just 24 hours. I has no idea why, but he explains that after 24 hours, the person's consciousness starts to push I out of the body. She then asks him what gender he identifies as, and I says yes to both male and female, which means he identifies as a non-binary person. That night, I leaves to return the boy home for the night and promises to return the next day. The next day comes and goes, but much to Rhee's disappointment, I does not show up. The next day, Rhee is in the car with her mother who is very angry with Rhee for disappearing right before their plans to go to DC together. Rhee is constantly messaging I to answer her texts, but he is nowhere to be found. Her behavior only concerns her mother more. 2 days later, I wakes up as Michael, whose family is going on a trip away from the city. When I realizes that the family is rushing to catch a flight, he panics and escapes the house through the window. He can't leave with the family because the next day he will wake up in another city and won't be able to make it back to Rhee. He runs away and calls Rhee, asking her to pick her up. Rhee manages to save him just in time before Michael's parents get a hold of him. Rhee brings him back to her house and sneaks him into her room. She's angry at him for disappearing on her, but I tells her that the reason he couldn't make it was because the boy he woke up as had a life-saving operation that day. The two eventually make up and spend some romantic time together. I wonders if the two can keep doing this forever, and reassures him that they can figure it out together. At school, Rhee gets into a fight with her best friend because Rhee has been very distant and secretive lately. As Rebecca leaves, Rhee gets a text from I who tells her that the girl he is inside that day wants to commit the unthinkable. Rhee rushes to meet I at Kelsey's house where I shows the notebook in which Kelsey has drawn all of her darkest thoughts. Kelsey has plans to commit the unthinkable before her dad gets home from work at 5 a.m. the next morning. Rhee tells I that he needs to stop Kelsey from doing this and needs to take action for her by letting her father know. I does not want to decide for Kelsey's life because he has never interfered in a person's life before. Rhee makes him realize that this is a special situation and convinces I to stay in Kelsey's body until the next day and help the girl get help when her father returns home. I pushes through and somehow manages to stay inside Kelsey's body for one more day. Rhee stays with him through the night. When Kelsey's father returns home in the morning, I seeks out help for the girl and manages to save her. At school, Rhee finds I, who is in a girl's body today. I and Rhee go to talk somewhere private, and that is when I tells her that Kelsey is safe and will be getting the help she needs. Rhee is so happy. She cannot believe that I stayed in someone's body for longer than 24 hours. Rhee asks if he could stay in someone else's body again, and I supposes that he could. They make up plans to meet the next day and share a kiss. At night, Rhee stays up late waiting for her mother to return home. When the woman gets back, Rhee tells her that she knows her parents are trying to make their marriage work and understands that her father has changed, but so has her mother. She only wishes that her parents can grow closer every day than further apart. The next day, I wakes up as Alexander and is completely taken by how amazing this boy is. He is in awe of his genius as he fascinatedly observes Alexander's room. When he meets Rhee, I sings Alexander's praises and tells her about just how smart the boy is. Rhee realizes that she had no idea that Alexander was such a genius boy even though she has known him for a long time. After school, I takes Rhee to the playing field. The two spend time together laughing, blowing up soap bubbles, and playing together. The day escapes them and it is almost night, which means I has to jump bodies now. Rhee asks I if he could stay in Alexander for another day, but I doesn't feel right about that. This upsets Rhee, but it's only right not to use another person for their benefit. But the next morning, Rhee is ecstatic to find that I chose to stay inside Alexander's body. When school ends, I asks her on a date, but Rhee has to study for a test. She asks him if they can do it tomorrow, but I is hesitant to stay inside Alexander for one more day. He eventually agrees. The days start passing one by one and Rhee has been happier than ever. It's like she has completely forgotten about Alexander's existence and has accepted I inside the body of her friend. And now that I has now taken up permanent residence inside Alexander's body, they are seen around the school openly kissing and holding hands. One night, after a movie date, I checks Alexander's phone and finds 3 missed calls from his mother, which he proceeds to ignore so that he can spend more time with Ree. In the next scene, the two share a kiss outside Alexander's house and Ree tells I that she loves him. I reciprocates her feelings and everything is rainbows and unicorns for them. Just as they enter Alexander's house, the two are startled by Alexander's family who have been waiting for the boy to get home for his birthday party. The realization that he forgot Alexander's birthday leaves I feeling guilty and embarrassed. Later, Alexander is reprimanded by his mother and he promises to make up to his aunts. But even so, his mother is upset by his behavior lately. She reminds him to not take his family for granted ever again because they all love him very much, and this forces I to seriously reflect upon his recent actions. The next day, he tries to talk to Ree, but she is busy at that moment. She tells him she will meet him later that night since Alexander's parents are not home, and they set up a date. Meanwhile, Ree makes up with Rebecca, who is happy for Ree and Alexander. That night, Ree shows up at Alexander's place, which has been beautifully decorated by I. With candles lit everywhere, the place looks very romantic. Also, I took the initiative to cook them dinner and relied on Alexander's amazing brain for the know-how. Ree is thoroughly impressed by him, but I can only credit Alexander for all of it. He then tells her that he feels horrible about forcing Alexander out of his own life. The boy has a family who loves him and a great future ahead of him. I can't keep doing this to him. Ree just tells him that they can return to how it used to be before, but I does not think that is a good idea anymore. Realizing that they're approaching a dreadful topic, Ree tries to deflect, but I no longer wants to avoid the reality. It is time for them to finally part ways. I tells her that he can't take up residence in someone else's body like this. He will always have to move from one person to another, and if he stays around her, he will cheat Ree out of a chance to find someone for her. Ree refuses to hear him go on any longer and tries to deflect, but I insist that she could date Alexander instead, since he is just the type of guy she likes. After being alone his entire life, I finally found someone who saw the real him, and for this reason, he doesn't want to let go of Ree, but he knows that he has to. Ree pleads with him to consider making it work somehow. Instead, he asks Ree to imagine their lives together. Throughout the years, he asks her to imagine how he will fit into her life when she could never truly tell anyone about him and they could never truly be married because I would always keep moving bodies. He will be blocking her life, stopping her from having a normal life as they both grow up. And what would happen when he starts waking up as a married man or when Ree gets pregnant? Whose child would that be? It could never be I's child because I doesn't have a physical form. I cannot imagine stunting Ree's growth like that and wants better for her. And though she is his first love and will probably be his last, I urges her to let him go for her own sake. Ree processes his words and understands them as well, but she still does not want to let go just yet. They're left with 3 hours before midnight and she wants to spend them with him. Oh, and Ree spend their last moments together, dancing and stargazing. Ree wonders if they would ever meet again, and I tells her that while he has to hope that they will, she has to believe they won't. I tells her that he will go far away from this city, and Ree urges him to leave traces of himself in the lives he lives. Soon, the clock strikes 12 and it is time for I to leave Alexander's body. Ree says her goodbyes and leaves. The next morning, I wakes up in the body of a girl named Katie. He gets in her car and drives far, far away. At school, though Ree knows that I has left for good, she can't help but look for him in the corridors and is dejected to not see him. When she bumps into Alexander, Ree feels sad to realize that he is no longer I. Alexander smiles at her and tells her that she has got a nice smile, which makes her think of I, because it was something that he used to tell her. This makes her think about all that I had said to her about Alexander. In that moment, Ree decides to take I's advice about Alexander, and starts by walking to class with him. In the end, through I's Instagram account, we find out that he is now in New York. Despite their beautiful love, the two have managed to move on from each other, and have begun to pursue their separate lives.